This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Brother Mike, back on the radio. Arizona, welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Welcome to Filthy Fridays on Hardcore. Today's Bible study. Corrupt Catholicism. Here we go again. Normally I ask you to call somebody and tell them the radio program's on, but on Filthy Fridays we just keep this program between us. This is just us. Don't call anybody. Thank you. As you know, this is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. We're downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. HardcoreChristianity.com is the website. When you go there, you'll see all kinds of ministry services. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we have Zoom healing and deliverance services. On Thursdays and Fridays, we have live services. Monday Zoom is at 6:30 p.m. for the ladies. Wednesday Zoom is for everybody at 6 p.m. Our services are at 7 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. You'll notice we have several seminars, and on our website, we have women's seminars, children's healing seminars. I have a deliverance training seminar for the fourth Saturday of every month at noon. I have a Sunday morning podcast at 9 o'clock. Just go to twitch.tv and put in the code HCCADC, and you're there. Please remember Sister Karen on the homepage of the website. She'd love to list your house for sale. And also remember to hit the PayPal button and send us another donation. Thank you for keeping us on the air for over 20 years. Also, thank you for all the donations you sent in to repair the major plumbing break at the Deliverance Center. We're over halfway through the repairs. We should be done in another week or two. Gracias. Corrupt Catholicism. It never ends with the corruption of the Roman Catholic Church. Obviously, there's a lot of good people in that church, a lot of good priests in that church. They're not devoid of good people, obviously. But since Pope Francis took over, the corruption of the church has taken a dive, a deep dive. Give me a couple examples. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Jefferson City, Missouri, just a few weeks ago, announced that Father Ignacio Medina had been found guilty of sexual solicitation of an adult during a confession. The person came to confess his sins and asked for prayers, and the priest tried to seduce him. A lot of people don't know this, but the Catholic Church has a code of canon law. And it says in that law, and I'm going to quote it to you, quote, a priest who in confession or on the occasion or under the pretext of a confession solicits a person to commit a sin against the sixth commandment of the Decalogue is to be punished according to the gravity of the offense with suspension, prohibitions, and deprivations. The code of canon law, the sixth commandment, here's what it says. You're probably not going to believe this. It's a law against adultery, which the Catholic Church considers to be any form of sexual activity outside of a marriage between a man and a woman. You believe that? Yeah, just a few months ago, the Catholic Church is now blessing same-sex marriages. Incredible, in violation of the sixth commandment of the Catholic Code of Canon Law. That's what it says. It gets worse. Victor Emmanuel Fernandez, last September, was promoted to cardinal by Pope Francis. This is the guy who wrote a book in 1988 called The Mystical Passion, Spirituality and Sensuality. This book is almost X-rated in how it talks about sex between males and females. and between male and female orgasms. It's unbelievable. The book said that people can also engage in homosexual behavior without being guilty. Here's what it says. Let me give you a couple quotes out of the book, give you an idea of what it's like. Quote, "Let us remember that God's grace can coexist with weaknesses and even with sins when there is a strong conditioning. In those cases, the person can do things that are objectively sinful without being guilty and without losing the grace of God or the experience of his love." He wrote a chapter in there called God in the Couple's Orgasm. This is one of the chapters in his book. Fernandez claimed that, quote, "a kind of fulfilling orgasm in our relationship with God, which does not imply so much physical alterations, but simply that God manages to touch the soul center of pleasure." In another part of the book, Fernandez explores the difference between male and female sexuality as it relates to porn. Noting that, here's a quote out of the book, quote, "A woman is less attracted than a man to watching photos containing violent sexual scenes or images of orgies. This does not mean that she feels less aroused by hardcore pornography, but rather that she enjoys it and values it less than a man." If you didn't think this could get any worse, listen to this. Fernandez met a 16-year-old girl who claims to have had a vision, and she shared this vision with Fernandez. He put it in his book. She's 16 years old. The vision was that she was watching Jesus take a bath in the Sea of Galilee, and she climbed into the water and kissed his entire body while he was taking a bath, while the Virgin Mary stood on the shore and looked on with approval. You heard me. That's in his book. He called it, quote, "an experience of love, a passionate encounter with Jesus that a 16-year-old teenager told me about." He wrote a chapter in his book on it. The title of the chapter was, quote, "My Beautiful, Come." That's a chapter in the book. This guy's a cardinal now. He's a cardinal now. Fernandez got appointed by Pope Francis to the doctrine of faith, the dicastery they call it. And his 1995 book, which was another book he wrote, quote, "Heal Me with Your Mouth, The Art of Kissing." This was in July in 1995. He got promoted to the head of the dicastery of the doctrine of faith in the Catholic Church. He wrote that book in 1995, "Heal Me with Your Mouth, The Art of Kissing." You know what it was for? It was for the catechism for teenagers. Can you believe that? I mean, I know what you're thinking right now. Brother Mike's making this stuff up. Fernandez is technically a spiritual advisor directly to the Pope. He's a theological advisor to the Pope. In his book, he explains how a person can reach a kind of fulfilling orgasm in our relationship with God. That's in one of his chapters called God in the Couple's Orgasm. He explains that God can be present when two human beings love each other and reach orgasm. And that orgasm experienced in the presence of God can be a sublime act of worship of God. Can you believe that? If you commit adultery, which is sex between a male and a female, if you commit a homosexual act, which is a sex between two females or two males, and you're all having orgasms, it can be interpreted as worshiping God. In one of the chapters, Fernandez quotes a 15th century Muslim theologian. His name was al-Sanuti. Al-Sanuti is quoted in his book. He's a Muslim imam. This imam offered praise to God for making men's reproductive organs hard and straight as spears so they can wage war on the corresponding parts of women. What he was talking about there was raping women as a result of conquering other lands. He quotes him in his book, 1 Timothy chapter 4, in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of demons. In the latter days, dangerous times shall come. Men shall be lovers of their own selves. Can you imagine any of this, friend? We're seeing it right now. It's happening right in front of our eyes. This is what's going on. Demons are taking over the Catholic Church. Demons are taking over Protestantism. Just recently, major scandals broke out about T.B. Joshua, T.D. Jakes, Hillsong, all kinds of sexual perversion running through the church. All this is caused by demons. All this is caused by Satan's war on the church, and he's winning. He's tearing down our country. America has been lost. The churches are being destroyed. Not all of them. The Arizona Deliverance Center is still here. If you are having problems with sexual perversion of any kind, heterosexual or heterosexual, you're eligible for free counseling services at the Arizona Deliverance Center. You can call me today at 602-636-5800. And once we remove these unclean spirits of sexual perversion, you will be healed and you can be cured. Jesus said that deliverance was the children's bread. That means deliverance is for Christians, and it's one of the benefits of the glorious gospel of Christ, in addition to forgiveness of sins and healing of the body. Do you need help? 602-636-5800. Come now. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.